TGIF and happy Friday, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army. Despite some of these unfortunate circumstances that we find ourselves in, Marc Cuban making some degen plays and crashing the market based on FUD. He invested, as you guys know, in iron titanium, ticker Titan, and was hoodwinked. He got the rug pulled out from under him, and now he's complaining. Of course, he's been dabbling in DeFi. He's been getting into the space, complaining now that it needs regulation because he got hurt in the process. It's quite unfortunate, actually, and as you can see, the state of the market is pretty bloody on this Friday, down 4.2%. Why? For no good reason. Mr. Cuban, you call yourself a shark, you call yourself a business leader, owner of the Dallas Mavericks, and I mean, this is like investor 101 issues, and pitfalls that you should not be falling for. Like, you fell for a scam coin based on lofty API promises and metrics and goals. Like, you're smarter than that, dude, or at least you should be. There's absolutely no excuse. And there's certainly, I mean, to an even greater extent, there's no excuse for you to be now, crying and whining about it, because this is cryptocurrency. You make your own bed and you sleep in it. That's my point of view. At least I don't really have much sympathy for Mr. Cuban. I have a feeling like he'll be able to recover from this. I think he'll be okay financially. We're going to be talking about all of these developments, guys, despite all of these hiccups that we've been seeing, courtesy of Marc Cuban. For the most part, we're also seeing positive interest on the part of Grayscale. They're investing into new DeFi projects, multiple DeFi projects. In fact, a list that's in the double digits. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the fact that Theta network is coming up very strong on that June. We're already in June. I have to remind myself. June 30th mainnet launch. That's coming up quickly. We have some IOHK Cardano news. And then, of course, at the end of this video, we give away $50 worth of Ethereum. If you like this kind of content, guys, be sure to like and subscribe to Altcoin Buzz News. Okay, so I hate spending time on FUD, but this is what we're dealing with. Without getting too much more into the weeds of this story, here are some of the summaries. In token crash post-mortem, Iron Finance says it suffered crypto's so-called first large-scale bank run. That wasn't the first, and that's even taken them at their word, which I'm not in this case. In the wake of the crash, billionaire Marc Cuban is now calling for regulations of stable coins. So here's the story on Coindesk.com. A near total collapse of the price, like it literally went down 100%, of a share token of a decentralized finance protocol was the world's first large-scale crypto bank run. The people behind Iron Finance said in a blog post providing a post-mortem. They brought the worth of the protocol from about $2 billion to near zero on Wednesday. They're blaming it on this so-called negative feedback loop. We're talking about iron tokens, iron titanium. The ticker is Titan. Look, it's being covered across the board. I'm not too concerned about this project. We've never talked about this project at Altcoin Buzz. We've never featured it because it is an S coin in our opinion. It's a garbage project. It's a garbage initiative. Even if they were the subjects or the victims of a bank run, that's the sort of stuff that shouldn't affect a solid project and a great team in this space. So no sympathies, guys. Sorry. Cointelegraph.com. Marc Cuban calls for stablecoin regulation in wake of Iron Finance bank run. Not necessary, Mr. Cuban. Just in the future, make sure you invest in more reputable and kind of square and well-to-do projects, something that is actually like legitimate. This was not. The problem is not regulation. The problem was your level of research and due diligence going into this Titan project. You can read about it here. Also, we're on newsbtc.com, how Marc Cuban got rugged in Iron Finance's crash. He got duped. Post-mortem revealed. I don't care. I don't care whether or not he made money, whether he lost money. I don't care about this project, Iron Titanium, Titan token. Marc Cuban, now we're getting into more mainstream territory here, and this is where the damage is really done. Marc Cuban has been dabbling in the space now, kind of crypto and Ethereum. He's been talking about in Bitcoin and DeFi more recently. And of course, that's been getting coverage sort of at the more legacy, at the mainstream media level. And now for him to have this very negative experience, like, just take it on the chin, dude. Like, suck it up, seriously. Like, who is responsible for this if not yourself? You're going to blame this on the regulators now? So we're on markets.businessinsider.com. Marc Cuban says he lost money trading a DeFi token called Titan that crashed from $60 all the way down to zero in one day. I don't care. Marc Cuban, you only have yourself to blame. We've all lost money in this space. We've hopefully all made money in this space. That's the reality. The regulators are not going to save you from the next scam. Even if this is, hypothetically, let's say just for the sake of illustration, for the sake of argument, I don't want this to happen. But let's say cryptocurrency suddenly becomes the most hyper regulated space in the world. Do you think that scams are going to disappear? Do you think that swindlers are just, never going to bother with this again? I don't want to get into other parallel kind of political kind of things, but maybe you see where I'm going. Regulation in this sense does not equate to a lack of criminality. And there's no way that you can over-regulate a space into kind of the absence of all scams. I think he's just looking for a scapegoat, and I think that's pretty pathetic. Billionaire guru investors, so-called Shark Tank business mastermind Marc Cuban, maybe it's just saving face. Who knows? Anyways, let me know your thoughts about that, guys, in the comments below. I don't care that Marc Cuban lost money. I don't care about the fact that this project, absolutely tanked and rug pulled. It was never a great project in the first place. And I certainly don't care for his calls to have regulation now to save his butt the next time this kind of things happen. Let's move on now. We've covered some of the FUD. You should be aware of that. That's kind of objectively what's happening. On the flip side of DeFi, here's all the positive stuff. So the rest of this video will be very positive indeed. Marc Cuban, I guess he doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to decentralized finance, but enter Grayscale. I think they are a little bit more informed as per Barry Silbert here. Grayscale brings, get this, 13 more tokens with DeFi focus under consideration. 13, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 10, 13. So check this out. DeFi focus, Grayscale exploring 13 more crypto assets for its trusts. This courtesy of Cointelegraph.com. So they added 13 new cryptos to Grayscale's list of assets under consideration. So just under consideration for the time being. Again, exhibiting significant interest in DeFi. This was revealed today. On June 19th, the prospective assets mainly represent the decentralized finance sector, including, but not limited to, 1inch, Bancor, Curve, Kava, Kyber Network, Loopring, Polygon, which I thought, I must have been mistaken, but I thought that Grayscale was already integrating or already considering Polygon. I guess not. That's a no-brainer. Ren, Universal Market Access, and 0x. They tweeted this here from actually late afternoon yesterday. So Grayscale, that is, at Grayscale on Twitter. We're always exploring new assets that can help us grow our family of investment products. Here are 13 additional that we'll explore: 1inch, BNT, CRV, ICP, Kava, KNC, LRC, Near, MATIC, Ren, Sol. So that was not mentioned in the list above. Sol, Solana, UMA, UMA, and ZRX. Follow along to get updates as we expand this list. And, unfortunately, in a relative sense, some of those projects are up based on this news, but the whole market is just, kind of down. You have some altcoins that are up. We're still seeing success in terms of Theta and Theta Fuel. But for the most part, I think the wind was taken out of the sails of those projects because they're just, there's just not a whole lot of enthusiasm per se after that announcement, and I think that's just more a symptom of the general market conditions right now. We're kind of deflated, unfortunately, and this whole Marc Cuban nonsense certainly didn't help. But, to me, although they're on different kind of sides of the spectrum, this Grayscale news has a very positive polarity. The Marc Cuban news has a very negative polarity. But in terms of magnitude, going back to my days of mathematics, right? The magnitude of a number, whether positive or negative, you kind of, the absolute value, if you will, which I think was the two parallel lines on either side. So whether you have a positive or a negative integer, the absolute value of, in this case, in my opinion, the Grayscale news is higher than the absolute value, whether it's positive or negative, whatever you think. But the Grayscale news has a higher absolute value than the negative Marc Cuban news. Just my opinion. I think this is bigger and a bigger deal in the long run because people look to Grayscale. Grayscale are definitely thought leaders in the space. What they choose to focus on in a very deliberate, in a very calculated way, those are decisions that other people are going to look to. And in many senses, it validates a lot of these projects and adds credibility to the teams working on them. So kudos to Grayscale. This bump in the road that we've seen now with Titan, with Marc Cuban, is unfortunate, but it doesn't speak to the larger adoption of decentralized finance. It doesn't in any way tarnish the future of that space, at least in my opinion. Moving on now to a little bit more of the macro news. Of course, we've been talking about El Salvador and volcano energy and the legalization of Bitcoin as legal tender. We may now kind of be entering the next chapter of this revolutionary saga. Altcoin Buzz IO here on Twitter. Carlitos Rayala is ready for making Bitcoin huge in Paraguay. In July, he pushes a bill to attract mining companies and other crypto businesses. Grupo Cinco, huge entertainment group, plans to accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, Shiba Inu. I wouldn't accept that one if I were them, but oh well. And Chili's, that's a big step up for Chili's, starting in July. That's awesome, awesome news. Documenting Bitcoin here, talking about some of the same things. So Paraguay's Deputy of the Nation and Member of Congress plans to present a Bitcoin bill next month. Of course, this is following El Salvador's Bitcoin bill. And we have Carlitos Rayala says, quote, "Our country needs to advance hand in hand with the new generation." Of course, we're hearing reports now that El Salvador has been reaching out to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and they have come back to El Salvador and saying, like, look, sorry, we can't help you. That, I think, has been expressed as FUD by some media outlets, but it's no surprise, right? The IMF doesn't want to facilitate anybody, enable them to, get off the US dollar any more than the world is already considering, just like at a baseline level. So we shouldn't expect any help from the IMF, from the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements. None of these people are going to be realistically helping these countries, but Paraguay, perhaps, hopefully, fingers crossed, now kind of creating, or I should say, taking that next step forward in terms of this Bitcoin. You could call it the beginnings of Bitcoin's hyper Bitcoinization around the world and international adoption. That is awesome, awesome news. Of course, we're going to keep you guys updated as that story develops. Theta is in the news. Don't forget, Theta's mainnet version 3.0 is coming up pretty quickly in just over 10 days, just under 10 weeks, just over 10 days. It's happening on June 30th. Theta extending development compatibility with Ethereum with a new RPC API suite, Web3 tools, MetaMask integration, and more. So just about every day, or maybe every couple of days at the most, we're getting good news out of Theta. I have the feeling that there are some major validators and possibly corporate backers behind the scenes that are warming up to Theta. It's why we've seen them. Yesterday we looked at the coverage that Theta was getting seemingly out of nowhere on like CNN and different legacy media outlets. And it's one thing for them to kind of a little bit talk about like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but like Theta, that surprised me. And they were also talking about, if you recall, Polkadot and Algorand. So anyways, stay tuned to this space. Theta is among the better performing altcoins right now, I think, in anticipation of this mainnet version 3.0. Big things I feel are also going to be revealed, and I don't have any inside knowledge, but I do kind of suspect, my spidey sense is tingling, if you will, that we're going to be hearing more good news from Theta. They're going to unveil something soon, maybe at the level of corporate backers or new validators or whatnot, but hopefully in the near future. I have a feeling. It's a gut feeling. What can I say? In other news here on altcoinbuzz.io, IOHK unveils Alonzo Blue 2.0 testnet on Cardano. So Alonzo Blue 2.0, the launch is an important milestone for the blockchain space. This article by Daniel, and not to go through all of it here, but it's something we know there are so many Cardano fans out there in the Altcoin Buzz army. So just feel it's something that you may want to be aware of, and you can go through this article in full at your leisure. In another big move for the blockchain industry, Input Output Hong Kong, which is the tech firm behind Cardano, ADA, they've announced the launch of Alonzo Blue 2.0 testnet on Cardano. Speaking of testnets in this last part of the video, IOHK disclosed the release of Alonzo Blue 2.0 for the Cardano testnet via a tweet from its Twitter official handle, expressing their delight with the successful launch of the protocol. And kind of like everything else, ADA's price is unfortunately a little bit depressed right now. It's kind of moving sideways. You could call it maybe a consolidation. we'll see by the time we exit this bear trend. You know, I think that'll determine the next major step, whether up or down, is going to determine what we kind of call this in retrospect. Optimistically, I'm thinking that for all of crypto, this is kind of a consolidation period right now, while the bulls and bears kind of negotiate as to who's going to take control. If you want to read more about what Alonzo Blue is, what it represents, check out the article here. Again, altcoinbuzz.io. This one by Daniel. All right, let's get into our $50 Ethereum giveaway, $50 worth of Ether, which of course we give away every day. We're on the new channel homepage here, Altcoin Buzz News. As a reminder, in order to be eligible to win $50 worth of Ether, number one, you got to like the video that you're watching right now. Just hit the thumbs up button. Number two, you got to subscribe to Altcoin Buzz News, our new channel. And number three, you have to comment with either the word Ethereum or the letters ETH, ETH. Let's take a look at yesterday's video, in which we're kind of talking about the fact that EIP 1559 is right around the corner. And for all of the negative sentiment, unfortunately, that we're experiencing right now, just kind of, maybe remind yourself that things change very quickly in this space. Emotions change. The needle on that fear and greed index can just oscillate super quickly, really over the course of, like a week or a few days. So I'm not giving any financial advice right now, but I am reminding you that things change very quickly in this space. And once things start to look very good again, they're going to increasingly look very, very good, and it's going to happen very rapidly. Ethereum is about to change in a big way. We're going to see EIP again, 1559. Testnet is coming up in just a few days, and then the whole thing is going live next month. Slowly, we're making progress towards ETH 2.0, towards a deflationary Ether. Just keep that in mind. That's all I'm saying. And then eventually Bitcoin will kind of, get itself out of these doldrums, shake itself off, and then new all-time highs across the entire space in the very near future. That's how I see it. So check out yesterday's video for more information about that. Let's go ahead and copy the URL here from the video, from our June 17th video. We're on Raffle Dash now, as long as you meet those criteria as a commenter, as a liker, and a subscriber. And as long as you're not a previous winner, that's how you stand a chance to win. Today, we're giving $50 of ETH away to Edward Scott. ETH, just do it. Your coin reviews are awesome. I have to correct you, Edward. Just kidding. We have $50 worth of ETH for you. Mr. Edward, please go back to yesterday's video. Okay, find your comment in this video right here. And when I say your comment, I mean this comment right here. Reply to your own comment, Edward, with this same YouTube profile, and reply with the Ethereum address to which you would like us to send you your $50 worth of Ethereum. It is that easy. Congratulations, Edward. All right, members of the Altcoin Buzz Army, that is about it for this Friday. TGIF once again. As you guys know, none of this is financial advice, but we do wish you the very best of luck if you do choose to invest. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe, share, hit the bell to receive notifications. Have a great end to your week, a great start to your weekend. Stay safe, and as always, we do hope to see you again soon in our next video. Take care.